Revelation 12, the 144,000, and the 400 years prophecy. First, let's talk about Revelation 12 and the Revelation 12 sign. Chapter 12 of the book of Revelation begins with a symbolic representation of the children of Israel. The 12th chapter of the book of Revelation also depicts the painful struggle of the children of Israel to withstand their difficult circumstances long enough to witness the birth of their anticipated Messiah. The symbolic depiction of the children of Israel is a woman. This symbol is striking because it is revealed as a wonder that is to appear in the heavens. A wonder is a sign. This sign is found in the first two verses of the 12th chapter of the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 12, verse 1 reads, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Revelation chapter 12, verse 2 reads, "And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered." The Revelation 12 sign is the astronomical representation of the woman spoken of in Revelation 12, verses 1 and 2. She is the woman in full regalia visible in the constellations of Virgo and Leo. On September 23rd, multiple celestial bodies converge in perfect alignment into one area of the sky to literally fulfill the imagery found in the first two verses of the 12th chapter of Revelation. No observational or theoretical research that has been used to search the heavens from the time of Adam to the end of the millennium has found another occurrence of the Revelation 12 sign. This sign appearing in the heavens was foretold in the book of Revelation almost 2,000 years ago. Now that we understand what the Revelation 12 sign is, what is the symbolism of a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars? The woman represents the children of Israel. The children of Israel are Yahweh's chosen people. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. A woman clothed with the sun denotes Yahweh's glory and favor on the children of Israel. The moon under her feet represents the woman's elevation. She is in ascendancy. The children of Israel are awakening. In the Revelation 12 sign, the moon is under the woman's feet. The woman has her foot on Satan's head, and his mouth is on her heel. This representation corresponds to the first half of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 15, where the seed of woman will be bruised in the heel. It is a symbol of the crucifixion and first coming of Yeshua. The second half of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 15, where the seed of woman bruises the head of the serpent, represents the return of Yeshua. The one who suffered will return to rule. Yahweh decreed to Satan in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. The woman in the Revelation 12 sign has a crown of 12 stars upon her head. The crown on the woman's head identifies her as royalty. The crown symbolizes the Lion of the tribe of Yehudah, the soon-to-come King, Yeshua. The crown of the woman in the Revelation 12 sign appears in the constellation of Leo. The constellation of Leo represents the Lion of the tribe of Yehudah. The lion traditionally symbolizes royalty and rulers. Regulus, the alpha star in the constellation of Leo, has been translated as Little King. The 12 stars in the crown represent the 12 tribes of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel are the lineal descendants of Jacob. They are Hebrew Israelites. Hebrew Israelites are the descendants of the children of Israel, who went into multiple captivities because of their disobedience. The children of Israel promised to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments given to Moses by Yahweh, but they did not. Because of their repeated disobedience, the children of Israel were exiled from their homeland. Some of their descendants were dispersed to the four corners of the earth, while others went into captivity in the Americas by way of ship. It should be noted that Hebrew Israelites are not a religion or religious group. Hebrew Israelites are a nation in exile. The 12 tribes of Israel entered Egypt as separate tribes. They walked out of Egypt as a nation. When the northern and southern tribes are reunited, they will once more be the nation of Israel. Who is a Hebrew Israelite? The simple meaning of Hebrew is nomad or passerby. The term Israelites refers to the direct descendants of any of the sons of the patriarch Jacob, or to their descendants, who are the children of Israel. The term Israelite has not always applied to all of the children of Israel. In the period of the divided monarchy, when Jeroboam and Rehoboam fought for control of the nation of Israel, the term Israelite was only used to refer to the inhabitants of the northern kingdom. Its use was only extended to cover the people of the southern kingdom when they too went into exile. There are some individuals and groups that say that the covenant that Yahweh made with the nation of Israel was broken as a result of her disobedience and idolatry. They will speak of Jeremiah, the 3rd chapter and 1st verse, where a discussion is held regarding the harlotry of the nation of Israel. But if we go down and look at Jeremiah and we look at the 14th verse in that 3rd chapter, we'll see where Yahweh is imploring the children of Israel to come back to him. He says, I'm married unto you. I will take you, one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you back to Zion. The covenant that he has with Israel is confirmed again in Isaiah, the 58th chapter, when he talks about that ongoing covenant. And in Jeremiah, the 31st chapter and the 31st verse, he again speaks of a new covenant that he's going to make, that he will write on the hearts of the children of Israel. In the 31st chapter and the 31st verse of Jeremiah, Yahweh reaffirms his eternal commitment to the nation of Israel. He says, "Behold, in those days," which is the future, and those days to come, that he will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. It won't be according to the old covenant made with the fathers, but this will be a new covenant that he will bring. He will put that covenant in the hearts of the people who constitute the nation of Israel. And they will teach that covenant, each man to his neighbor. And Yahweh says that this covenant will stand forever. He says that as long as the sun gives light and the ordinances of the moon remain in place and the stars of the night light up the sky, and the sea which divideth roars, the waves roar, that he will be with the children of Israel, that the seed of Israel shall never cease to be a nation before him. He said, if heaven can be measured and the foundation of the earth searched, that he will also cast off the seed of Israel. But until such time, they remain his seed forever. And the covenant stands. One significant thing to note is that the lost tribes of Israel, the northern kingdom, and Judah, the southern kingdom, are the descendants of the children of Israel spoken of in the Old Testament. Many reside in the Americas. They were transported there in ships, which fulfills a prophecy found in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. Again, speaking of the Revelation 12 sign, the 9 stars traditionally held to form the constellation of Leo represent the lost tribes of Israel: Reuben, Simeon, Issachar, Zebulun, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Manasseh, and Ephraim. They constitute the northern kingdom. The 3 wandering stars in the constellation of Leo on September 23rd represent the tribes of Yehudah, Benjamin, and Levi. They are the southern kingdom. In the Revelation 12 sign, the 12 stars unite to form the crown on the head of the woman. This symbolizes the coming together of the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom as the nation of Israel. The combined stars also represent the 144,000, 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. The woman's crown, representing the soon-to-come king, along with the 144,000, heralds the appearance of the Messiah and the 144,000 spoken of in Revelation 7 and Revelation 14. There are a significant number of people who expect the Messiah to return with the 144,000 mentioned in Revelation chapter 7 and Revelation chapter 14. So who are the 144,000? The 144,000 are 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. A search of the Blue Letter Bible reveals that Strong's Concordance number G 444, as used by the original writer of the biblical passage in the original language, reflects the meaning of men to be human being, whether male or female, or generically, It includes all human individuals, so the word men in the language and context of the original writer is not gender specific. Speaking of the 144,000, Revelation chapter 7, verse 4 reads, "And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel." Revelation chapter 7, verses 5 through 8. Of the tribe of Yehuda were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. The 144,000 will not manifest until the 400 years prophecy given to Abraham is fulfilled. What is the 400 years prophecy? The 400 years prophecy is a prophecy that was given to Abram, who later became Abraham. Yahweh told him that he would have descendants that would be as numerous as the stars, and this was hard for Abraham to really comprehend because he had no children. But in a dream, he was shown his descendants. But to him it was a horror because he realized that they were in captivity, and it was a horrific captivity. But he was also shown that there would be an end to that captivity. It would last for 400 years. And that is the 400-year prophecy. It is a point in time where his descendants would go into captivity in a land that they did not know, amongst people who would treat them cruelly, and they would reside there in that land for 400 years. The 400 years prophecy is found in Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. "And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. The 400 years prophecy was not fulfilled in Egypt. The children of Israel were in bondage in Egypt for less than 400 years. So the captivity in Egypt cannot have fulfilled the 400-year prophecy as some have claimed. What date in history would represent the fulfillment of the 400 years prophecy? Two dates have been mentioned regarding the fulfillment of the 400 years prophecy: September 23rd, 2017, and August 20th, 2019. August 20th, 2019 has traditionally been held to be the day that the 400 years prophecy will be fulfilled. On August 20th, 1619, 20 enslaved Africans, Hebrew Israelites, were taken from an area identified on old maps as Judaland or Negroland and were offloaded from a Dutch ship and sold into slavery in Point Comfort, Virginia. It should be noted that some records show Africans first being enslaved in Jamestown, Virginia on August 20th, 1619. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt, bondage, again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy free you. Or in other words, no one will secure your freedom for you. The Africans sold into slavery in Point Comfort, Virginia, were Hebrew Israelites, descendants of Shem. Generations before, in 70 AD, their ancestors fled from Israel into Africa, attempting to hide from Roman persecution. They hid among the Africans, descendants of Ham. More recent research has uncovered records of enslaved Africans sold into slavery in Bermuda in 1617. These Africans are also thought to have come from the area of Judaland, also known as Negroland. In the article, Bermuda's History from 1500 to 1699, there is a one-line entry that reads, 1617, slaves were first mentioned in Bermuda records. The timeline for the recorded entry of slaves to Bermuda is between March 17, 1617 and September 29, 1617. Research by Cheryl Balker, PhD, a cultural anthropologist with a research focus on the African diaspora, indicates that enslaved Africans were first brought to Virginia in 1617. It has been posited that Saturday, September 23, 1617, is the day that the enslavement of these Africans, Hebrew Israelites, began in Virginia. It should be noted that any day from September 23rd through September 29th is also a day which could mark the fulfillment of the 400 years prophecy. This is because the exact date enslaved Africans, Hebrew Israelites, arrived in Bermuda is not known. September 23rd, 1617 to September 23rd, 2017 is 400 years. August 20th, 1619 to August 20th, 2019 is also 400 years. Completion of the 400 years prophecy, whether September 23rd, 2017 or August 20th, 2019, will mark the fulfillment of a 5,000-year-old prophecy given to Abraham by Yahweh. Once the 400 years prophecy is fulfilled, Yahweh has promised to come and get his people, the Hebrew Israelites, the descendants of the children of Israel. He states that he will gather the remnant of his flock out of all of the countries where they have been driven, and he will bring them again to their own folds, and they will be fruitful and increase. And he will set up shepherds over them that will feed them. And he will also establish unto David a righteous branch and a king that will reign, and the people will prosper, and the king will execute judgment and justice in the earth. Yahweh states, in his days, in the days of the king that will be established, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is the name whereby Yahweh will be called, the Most High, Elohim, our righteousness. Yahweh states, "Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Most High Elohim, that they shall no more say, The Most High Elohim liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Most High Elohim liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land." The 31st chapter of Jeremiah, verses 8 through 11, reaffirm Yahweh's promise to come and get his people. He states, "Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coasts of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return thither. They shall come with weeping, and with supplications will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of water, in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn." Hear the word of the Most High Elohim, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, "He that scattered Israel will gather him, and keep him, as a shepherd doth his flock. For the Most High Elohim has redeemed Jacob, and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he." The children of Israel and their descendants, the Hebrew Israelites, are the key to the fulfillment of Bible prophecy. The prophet Jeremiah, in the 31st chapter of Jeremiah, stated that Israel will never cease to be a nation before Yahweh. Jeremiah also speaks to the reunification of Israel at a future date. Yahweh promised to make a covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Yahweh also stated that Israel would never cease to be a nation before him. Yahweh has promised to forgive Israel's transgressions and to be reconciled to her. He will turn around and face her. She will be his people, and he will be her God. But first, the Hebrew Israelites must fulfill the 400-year prophecy. Nothing significant will move forward on the prophetic stage until the 400-year prophecy has been fulfilled, and the nation of Israel has been reconciled to Yahweh. The Hebrew Israelites truly are the key to the fulfillment of biblical prophecy. The appearance of the 144,000 after the 400 years prophecy is fulfilled can be confirmed through use of Yahweh's word and Yahweh's prophetic calendar. What then is the prophetic calendar? The prophetic calendar is a lunar-based calendar that has a year span of 360 days. It is the calendar that Yahweh created, and it is the calendar that is used throughout the Bible. In Genesis 15, verse 13, Yahweh told Abraham that his seed would be strangers in a land not theirs, and would serve others who would afflict them for 400 years. This is the 400-year prophecy. The prophetic clock began when the royal tribe, Yehudah, went into captivity by way of ships and started serving its 400-year sentence. Thus began the countdown toward fulfillment of the 400 years prophecy given to Abraham by Yahweh. Completion of the 400 years prophecy is based on Yahweh's 360-day prophetic calendar. The methodology for calculating the number of days in the 400 years prophecy is as follows. 360 days, which is Yah's prophetic year, times 400 years, which is the number of years in the prophecy given to Abraham, equals 144,000 days. That is the total number of days in captivity that the children of Israel must serve before the 400 years prophecy is fulfilled. Using Yahweh's prophetic calendar to determine the total number of days to be served in the 400 years captivity reveals that 144,000 days served marks the end of Israel's captivity and fulfillment of the 400 years prophecy. The same calculation, 360 days, Yahweh's prophetic year, times 400 years, the number of years in the prophecy given to Abraham, equals 144,000, which, not coincidentally, points to the appearance of the 144,000 after the 400 years prophecy is fulfilled. The number 144,000 is a significant number for the Hebrew Israelites. It is the exact number of full days they are required to serve to end their captivity and fulfill the 400 years prophecy. The exact number 144,000 needed to fulfill the 400 years prophecy also confirms the fact that the fulfillment of the 400 years prophecy was for such a time as this. Only when every day in the 400 years prophecy is served can the exact number 144,000 be established. The number 144,000 places the Hebrew Israelites squarely in the middle of the Revelation 12 and the Revelation 12 sign. They are the woman in Revelation 12, and they are the woman represented in the Revelation 12 sign. This ties them directly to the 144,000 and the man-child who will rule with a rod of iron, because both issue forth from the woman. The number 144,000 can also represent the rebirth of Israel as a nation. In addition, it can represent or point to the resurrection of those 144,000 who are described as firstfruits unto Yahweh and Yahshua. Of great importance is the fact that completion of the 144,000 days marks the moment Yahweh can once again be fully with and act for and through his people, the Hebrew Israelites, the children of Israel. The 144,000 will not appear before the woman in the Revelation 12 sign, who represents the children of Israel, gives birth. Earlier in this presentation, we spoke of the Revelation 12 sign and the woman with the crown on her head and the moon under her feet. In the second verse of Revelation 12, we learn that the woman is figuratively giving birth as Jupiter moves from her womb through the birth canal. In Revelation chapter 12, verse 2, the woman being with child cries, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. The birth pains and travail of the woman represent the pain experienced by the children of Israel as the northern tribes and the southern tribes struggle to regain their identities and reunify into the nation of Israel, as prophesied in the 37th chapter of Ezekiel. The birth pains and travail of the woman also represent the struggle of the children of Israel to survive their captivity and fulfill the 400 years prophecy given to Abraham in Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. And the woman in the Revelation 12 sign and in Revelation 12 is travailing in pain to be delivered of the man-child who will rule with a rod of iron. The sign pointing to the birth of the man-child occurs on September 23rd, when Jupiter, the representation of the man-child, which is now visible in the constellation of Virgo, symbolically exits the womb of the woman, travels through her birth canal, and is born. This symbolic birth occurs in the heavens. Many people believe that this occurrence is no more than an astrological phenomenon. Many others believe that this event will herald the return of Yeshua, and even more people believe that they will be raptured to heaven. What are some of the confirmations that speak to the significance of 2017? The Star of Bethlehem. What is the Star of Bethlehem? The Star of Bethlehem appears to signal significant events to come 2 years before they occur. The Star of Bethlehem appeared 2 years before the birth of Abraham. The Star of Bethlehem appeared 2 years before the birth of Yeshua. The Star of Bethlehem appeared in 2015. The 2-year pattern associated with the star's appearance suggests that something significant should happen in 2017. The Year of Jubilee. 2017 is the Year of Jubilee. It is a proclamation of liberty and a time of freedom and celebration where everyone receives back their original property, lands and possessions, slaves and prisoners are freed, debts are forgiven, and the mercies of God are particularly manifest. The Year of Jubilee occurs every 50 years. The Feast of Trumpets. The Feast of Trumpets is the 5th of 7 feast days. The 2017 Feast of Trumpets falls on September 21st or September 22nd and begins right before the Revelation 12 sign on September 23rd. The Feast of Trumpets has no set beginning. It is the only feast where its arrival is dependent upon the confirmed sighting of the new moon before it can officially begin. For that reason, there are always 2 days allotted, and it is considered to be one long day. The Feast of Trumpets is called the day that no man knoweth the day or hour. The exact moment when the moon is first spotted to signal the beginning of the Feast of Trumpets is called the twinkling of an eye. Traditionally, the shofar is blown 100 times. The last blow on the shofar is called the last trump. Many people look for the Messiah to come during the Feast of Trumpets. No one knows the day or the hour. The completion of the 400 years prophecy heralds the unfolding of future events. As promised, the Elohim of the nation of Israel, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob will forgive the trespasses of his people. He will turn around and face the children of Israel, and he will remind them of his great love for them. He will once again become their protector and they will be his people. The lost tribes of Israel will reunite with Yehuda, Benjamin, and Levi. The time of Jacob's trouble will begin. Worldwide satanic-led opposition to Israel and the Most High Elohim will occur. The man-child, who will rule with a rod of iron, will be born. The children of Israel will flee into the wilderness, where they will be protected. This is the second Exodus. The wrath of Yahweh will be poured out on earth. Babylon will be destroyed.